edition of Humor Mill TV. I'm Frank Holder, sitting here with my man from Chicago, Mr. Rip Micheals. Rip, how you doing today?
Man, I'm excellent, man. I feel blessed that you came down, man.
I know, right? It's a long drive, but we did it.
I appreciate that, man. You brought the whole family with you, the wife, the cousin, the ex-wife.
Yeah, we did everything, man.
Everybody's here.
Yeah, you said the ex-wife.
The fact that they get along, that shows how cool you are.
All right, so man, how does a kid from Chicago, first of all, get into the comedy game? I mean, you know, being from Chicago, it's just tough just to get out of Chicago in the first place, man. How you can jump into comedy?
I would give a big shout out to my dad's girlfriend that got me really pushing into comedy. And I don't judge my parents; they're still married. Don't judge that my dad had a girlfriend, but my mama had a boyfriend too. I didn't know.
Oh wow!
Child.
Okay. Uh-huh.
My dad used to call his girlfriend Auntie Jockey. I didn't know that was Auntie Jockey. I had Uncle Charles too. That's all I'm saying. Auntie Jockey drove a Camaro.
He answered that question. I see how they got you into comedy.
No, but it was just, and I've always wanted to do it. I would say Def Comedy Gym got me into it. I actually started when I was like 12 years old, and I would go to like, and she would take me to all the different underground scenes and comedy. She would take me to the 50-yard line. She would take me to all the different clubs in Chicago, the Click, and oh my God, all jokes aside.
Wow.
Shout out to all jokes aside. And I would see like Damon Williams and George Wilburn and D-Ray and all that when I was a little kid going on stage. So
you just dated those dudes. They're gonna be mad when they see this interview.
What? But I'm sorry.
You know, it's all right. They'll be all right. They'll be all right. So let's fast forward.
Nobody knew D-Ray was 70?
No.
I'm joking. He's not 70, he's like 55.
So you get into comedy, man, and you get also behind the scenes, man. So you're doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, which you're going to talk about in a second. But now you produce, you write, and everything else. Out of all the stuff you're doing, I'm going to jump into that in a second. But all the stuff you do, what do you enjoy the most? Is it on stage or is it behind the scenes?
I would say always on stage. I'm a comedian first before anything, and if anything that got me into producer would be me coming to New York homeless with my daughter and living on the streets of New York for a long time. That's kind of what got me into the producing thing because as a comedian, a lot of things coming from Chicago, coming to New York. A big shout out to Dave Chappelle. I would have never even thought about coming to New York if it wasn't for Chappelle. No. I saw him in the comedy club in Wiley's in Dayton, Ohio, and he was like, if you ever want to find out if you're a real comedian, you'll move to New York. I literally got on the Greyhound bus. I had never been here. And I was homeless on the streets for like a year. And when I say homeless, I'm not like talking about sleeping on people's couch. I'm talking about train station, eating out of dumpster homeless. Like the
wow. You came a long way.
Yeah, and it was funny because I was homeless and I didn't want comedians to know, so I would just have this big backpack and I would tell them I had a ventriloquist dummy inside and I had a guitar and I would never play it. But then they found that I was actually sleeping in the park. And I embraced it after that. I would like let them come with me and get day-old bagels, and I got so cool. And big shout out to the security team at the Fit Institute because they would let me sleep there and wake me up before the student comes. So
wow,
it was just an interesting journey. My daughter was with me through it all. So
wow,
I had full custody ever since she was 2. So.
Wow, that's amazing, bro. Okay, so now you write, you also do stand-up and everything else, but the amazing part that I found out recently is that you do a lot of things behind the scenes a lot of people weren't familiar with. Talk about the Wild 'N Out journey and tell everybody out there what your part was in Wild 'N Out, which has become a huge success on MTV, and people see it, it's touring now, and it also is coming out with different kinds of brands and all kinds of different things. Tell everybody about there what your involvement is in the Wild 'N Out brand.
Well, I actually was the warm-up guy for Wild 'N Out for a very long time before they actually allowed me to be on the show. And it's funny because I knew Nick from, we did a movie together called Love Don't Cost a Thing with Christina Milian. She put me in that movie. And I never got the opportunity to do it until it came to New York. And so I was the warm-up guy for like 2 years. And in that journey for being a warm-up guy, it got to the point where I was doing warm-up and they would take the warm-up shots and use it for like audience applause and laughter and start banking it. And then producers like, we need you to audition.
So tell everybody out there what the warm-up guy is too.
Warm-up guy is the person that makes the jokes before the show starts and keeps the energy going and keeps them laughing and having a good time in between tapes, before tapes, and anytime we have to break down and doing lunch breaks. So
right.
Yeah, it was a strong, interesting journey, and that turned me into a cast member. And I literally, like the first day I did Wild 'N Out, I thought I was gonna get fired because you know me, I'm always that I go too far. I literally I threw powder on the entire cast Wild 'N Out, like I do a voodoo curse on them, and I covered them in powder, and they were like, "Oh my God, what did you do?" And they had never done like slapstick on Wild 'N Out, so it was something that I looked at Wild 'N Out as like, first of all, to me, Wild 'N Out is so dope to be on such a vehicle, and there's not that many vehicles left for minority entertainers that we're gonna have, such as that. Those days of 11 Color and BET's Comedy View and Def Comedy Jam, all that's gone. So like this is the last vehicle we have that has launched some great entertainers. And I added the fact that slapstick wasn't done. We're like wrestlers, so everybody got their own lane. They do this old school rapper. This guy's this, and I became Mr. Take It Too Far, Mr. Pull Off the Wig, Throw Powder, and just adding that slapstick Three Stooge type humor to the show. And it just took me to this whole platform. Next thing you know, I was pulling off wigs and doing all kind of stuff, and it led to like the tour part. So it's been a really dope journey.
Tell everybody about the tour, man. How's the tour thing coming about? How are you able to get that together? How are you able to get that to several cities and everything else? Because you can't just do that out of the box. That takes planning.
It does take a lot of planning. With actual tour and being so successful, actually, it started with Nick asking me, and no, when he wouldn't even ask me, he was telling me, we were watching Cat Williams perform, and he was like, "Yo, Rip, I always wish I could sell out arenas." And I was like, "What are you talking about? You Nick Cannon, you can sell out arenas." He's like, "Nah, I never done that. It was always one of my dreams." And I was like, "You know what? You put me on Wild Now, and you've changed my life, and for me and my daughter and my entire family. Of course, I'll do that for you." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll do that. I'll make sure that you touring and headlining arenas." And then I took the concept, and I remember I booked Nick for it. I was like, "I'm gonna book you, and we're gonna do the show." And I put together the Wild Out tour in a small part of Queens at this place called NYC Arena, and it probably only held like 1,500 people, and I was so nervous because then I was giving out the flyers and nobody wanted to come to it. And it was like, me and my daughters were standing and it was like literally slapping the flyers out of my hand like, this is for my kids. So it took, because I've been promoting shows only to get myself on stages. Like that's what I was doing. So I took my vehicle and I did it. And it was such a hard journey because no one knew what the tour was. And I see this on TV, I'm not gonna pay for this. And then I literally did it, and I got to the ground, me and my entire team, we pushed it. The next thing I know, we filled up Amazon, we did 2 shows. And then we did another show in Long Island. And the show I did in Long Island was around the corner to the point where the police department came and the mayor came and it was like, yo, it's too many people here. Because at that point, I didn't know that, you're supposed to have a certain amount of tickets so, you stop selling. I'm just like, hey, come to the door, because tickets wasn't really selling. Right. And over 3,000 people showed up to a 1,500 seat venue. And I remember like, this is what it is. And I was so excited to tell everybody like, yo, look, we did it. Look, it's a tour now. And it was like, and I remember when Nick's agent at the time was like, this doesn't count. These people here don't matter. And I was like, hearing that don't matter bothered me. I was like, what do you mean? These are hard-working people. And he was like, well, the venues and the people that you have it at, they don't matter. And I was like, huh. So literally when he said that, I was so hurt because I thought they would just pick it up and go. I literally took all my credit cards, maxed them out, sold a couple cars, and I literally put it in 10 different arenas across the country. And I remember going, and I got on a plane, back of money, I was like, look, Nick, I don't know how I'm gonna sell them out. I want to do this many dates. I'm buying 10 because I'm gonna prove that this is an actual concept. And I took to the ground running. And it's funny because my leg was actually broken at the time. And I broke my leg right after I gave the money. I was like, dang, that nigga got his money already. I can't get it back. My leg is broken. Mm-hmm. So I literally went around the country on a cast because I didn't even get a chance to get it fixed because they told me I'd be off my leg. So I literally just wrapped a splint around it and kept an air cast on it. And I literally went around handing out the flyers and promoting it. And we were selling out arena after arena.
Every show's different too, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the key to it, that people realize word of mouth is that every single show is different.
Every single show is different, and I implemented artists, bringing artists in. So it turned into this huge comedy concert thing that had never been done, where it's like a artist and then the music and then the game, and then we do comedy, then we do stand-up, and then the artist. So it was something like phenomenal, and I think that everybody realized it was something when we did 2 arenas in one night, and I sold out both arenas. I did the Show Palace Arena in DC, and I did the Capital One Arena, and I did 2 arenas. No comedian's ever done 2 arenas in the same night on the same part of town. Wow. And it was funny because I did the Capital One Arena in 3 weeks, and I remember doing it, and they were like, yeah, you'll never sell out this show in 3 weeks. And they made me pay everything up front. It was like, we want every single dollar up front. We want this, we want this, we want that. And I was like, no problem. We're going to sell it out. And I did it. And when I tell you I sold it out, it went from having maybe 30 tickets a day to, we did 17,500.
Wow.
We pulled it to the arena. Everybody looked like there's people on the ceiling.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk about
your
production side of things too. Because now we talked about being a comic. We talked about obviously being in Wild and everything else. Tell everybody out there about the producer in you. Like, how did that even come about?
When you say producer, what exactly do you
like supervising producer and doing things like that on Nick Cannon's show? Tell them.
Well, I actually, a lot of people know I've written for a lot of different comedians throughout the years. Some of them I will mention, some I will not mention. I've written entire specials for people that's come on television. And I've written for Anthony, let's see, Cedric on Barber Battle. I've written for Nick. I've written for a lot of Brancy Jackson, just a lot of comedians, and that allowed me to see that, okay, as a comedian, it's cool to be an artist, but like, how am I helping and doing business and developing the people around me? How are we doing business together collectively? And I realized that just being funny wasn't doing enough. It wasn't getting me where I needed to be. Being a person that just ripped stages wasn't enough. I had to do something more, and I threw my producer hat, and it's just been, hey, wherever I can add to it, as long as it's doing my craft, I had to change my mindset. And was like, I'm still a comedian if I'm a producer, and I'm bringing my own crowd to laugh with me, and I'm bringing other people in it. And that's what got so dope. So I took my name and I was like, all right, people come see me. Now I'm gonna get them to come see you. Now I'm gonna get them to come see you, you, and you, you. And it's just like, it's been a passion.
All right, so we're gonna get ready to wrap this up. But before we do, man, tell everybody out there what else is there yet to accomplish. We know you got April Fool's comedy shows coming out. We know we've got a lot of things that you're doing coming out, anything else. But what else is there? The passion. What do you want to do?
Well, let's see. I got married recently, which was the weirdest thing ever. I've never been married before. I never thought I'd be ever married. So, and my wife is Indian, so that's just been a whole journey within herself. And her parents are so racist. They'd be like, you're a nigga to us, but you're a good nigga. I was like, please don't call me that, but thanks for saying I'm good. So it's just been taking everything to another level. So, it's my first time ever writing for, and being a head writer for a television show. And I was inspired by my wife, like, hey, put these different hats on, be this different person, step into this light. Even with the weight loss journey and losing all the weight and coming down from 350 and all these different things and changing my mindset. So being married and it's put me in a different thing. Now we got this huge black and brown business thing that we do, and we do a lot of brown things for the brown community. We do mental health stuff. We do so much other things that I'm in right now. Besides, you're at my comedy club now. So even this part used to be a more like a nightclub, and we turned into a restaurant. It's more of an event space because what I'm doing now is I'm giving back to everything. Everything I'm trying to do now is spiritually giving back, so I can pay it back and pay it to other people that want to do the same thing. That's just my grandma called me. She's pregnant. She's not gonna keep it.
That's why you're gonna get blessed, though, bro, because of all the stuff you're doing.
Yeah, even with Urban Eats and Treats, that was just me saying I want to go and provide. During the pandemic, I noticed all these restaurants were struggling. I was like, okay, I want to show people that we have great stuff in our neighborhoods. I want to show that minorities have great things. We're not just check cashing places and liquor stores. We have these great infusions of things. And then Urban Eats and Treats is coming on NBC in April, and you'll see me take some of my celebrity friends like Shaq and Tamar Braxton, Nick Cannon, so many different celebrities, and we take them to these different restaurants, and they eat and show that we got great stuff going on. And the Stars thing that we're doing now, this is the first comedy club where comedians can get the entire door and a part of the bar and actually get actual real money and not do a comedy club and make $15,000 when the club makes $150,000. So I actually get real good deals for people that want to promote themselves. I'm all about creating vehicles now that elevate everything that I've done and elevate other people to do the same and teach them that they can do the same and take their career in their own hands. Even with the April Fools, that's me taking all my friends and saying, hey, let's go do an arena this weekend. Now let's do a club. Let's come together and do an arena and do 17,000 people this weekend and show them that when we come together, we're so powerful. We're so powerful. They want to separate us, but we are so powerful when we come together.
Well, Rip, you got a lot going on. I see we're going to talk a couple more times because you're doing a lot of things. The NBC show is amazing. You said NBC. You said it's on NBC Peacock.
NBC Peacock.
It's
on everything. Big shout out to Kevin. He put it on everything. It's on NBC Peacock. It's on Roku. It's on Tubu. It's on. If you name a streaming platform, he's putting on all of them. Yeah, big shout out to Kev for that.
Yeah, there it is. So, with that being said, are you going to be in any other TV projects we can look up in the next coming weeks? Or
I just got fired. Apparently, somehow Nick lost his job and I lost my job in the process. But I bought the jacket beforehand with a PPP loan, so that's why the jacket looked good. No, I'm just joking. It was just I'm doing a lot of different projects. We're back on the new season of Wild 'N Out. Urban Eats and Treats coming out, the club thing, and I got a couple other projects. The thing I've done with Cardi, the sketch comedy show I've done with her, you can start looking for that. We're going straight to YouTube with that series, which is super funny because you'll see Cardi in the light where she's just telling jokes and it's just funny. You're never going to see and no Cardi B is that funny. Yeah. So we're finally releasing that stuff and just continue to grind.
I appreciate that. Tell everybody out there how they can follow you.
You can follow me, most importantly, on MoneyGram. You can go there. It's an old process. But if you put money on, I swear to God. But no, I'm like everybody else. I'm on Instagram. It's just Rip. It's actually Rip Micheals. A lot of people don't know that. It's not Rip Micheals. It's actually Rip Micheals. A lot of people call me Rip Micheals because Me trying to explain to people
See,
all the time.
I said it wrong. the
So
whole
it's
time.
Micheals because when I found out I could do comedy, it was because I made my grandmother just died, and I did an impression of my grandmother, and everybody in my family laughed, and I try to use laughter to heal people.
Mike
and
Heals.
yeah, so actually Rip Mike Heals.
Well, y'all got it right there. It's Frank Holder sitting here with Mr. Rip Micheals on all kinds of different platforms. He's doing all kinds of different things, man. Thank you for sitting here and taking the time. We really appreciate you. And we're going to look forward to all the things you have coming up soon.
Man, Frank, if I don't tell you, man, nothing else, man. Thank you for coming by my spot. Thank you for having me and your beautiful wife and your beautiful family, man. And Frank Lucas over there, and my man cat his Christmas sweater. I just think this is amazing. No, but all seriousness though, thank you, man. What you do for people in this community and what you do for comedians had never been done before. And then having a vehicle for us to and having our own magazine is huge because people don't all the time see it as a huge art in what we go through. So if anything, I could tell you, thank you very much from my heart and every other comedian. Thank you for exposing us to what it actually takes to get here because a lot of people don't know our stories.
You got it true. But thank you, bro. We appreciate you.